Hello, guys. Welcome back. So, what do we do with leftover guilt from our previous religion when it comes up? Because I was raised Roman Catholic, and all this guilt came crashing down on me, and Thor's been walking me through it because it was Thor's horn that was involved. His statue came in, it's beautiful. His horn came in, and it's broken. And I automatically felt guilty, even though I was the one that broke the horn. I wasn't dancing around and dropped it. It came in smashed. I rinsed it out. I wanted to see if it would at least hold water if I had to report that too, and that was fine, but it's cracked on the rim. I took photos and I sent through Amazon. I sent them to the seller and I said, you said to contact you if something's wrong. And I said, this is cracked. I said, I'm afraid it's going to split the whole way down. I don't have a bunch of horns. This is only our third one. And I said, I'm worried that, with continued use, this is just going to keep on breaking. And I said, could I get a replacement horn? And I thought for sure he was going to tell me, no, absolutely not. He's setting a replacement horn. He thanked me for actually contacting the company, which makes it sound like almost nobody ever does it. And he's like, yeah, we'll send you one out. They're sending it out tomorrow. And then I felt like I'd done something bad, and I hadn't done anything bad because he has it right on his Amazon page. If you're not happy for absolutely any reason, contact us, we'll make it right. I did exactly what it says, and yet even though I've been pagan, heathen, and witch for decades, the witch and the Wiccan and pagan thing more longer than heathen, though Odin's gonna argue that. I still feel guilty because I was taught to feel guilty over everything as a Roman Catholic, like everything. Like somehow this horn coming in was, well, one, it was me wanting a worldly possession, so that's a sin. That's bad. I wanted something. I could have given that money to the poor. Well, I'm so selfish. I'm so selfish. I wanted a worldly item, so that was a sin. And I realize this has been bothering me lately about wanting statues and that for the gods, and I'm like, but this is ritual material that the gods do and like and ask for, and I realize I'm feeling sinful and bad because I'm wanting worldly possessions. I'm spending the money on worldly possessions instead of giving it all to the church because they lawsuits. I'm sorry, but I will never run out of shade to throw at the church, and I got damn straight. And please don't shut us down, YouTube. But I felt bad because I spent money on worldly good, even though the gods asked for it. I felt bad because it came in damage, because somehow that's my fault, because it's always your fault when you're a Catholic, especially if you're a Catholic woman. Your vagina broke everything in the world. You literally ruined the world, or your ancestors did in the Garden of Eden. You suck. And I'm like, imagine growing up being told that from like a little tiny dot of a girl, like, women screwed it up for everyone, okay? You girls are evil. All the ex-Christian women out there are like, hey, let me tell you what it was like in my church. Yeah, I know it sucks to be a female. And, so all that guilt just came crashing down on me, and I almost wanted to cry. And I was like, why am I crying? Because it's a nice stormy day, and his Thor horn. His horn came in, and it's like stormy gray storm color, and I said, could you at least give me, some kind of sign you're happy with it? Because I thought there's no way they're going to let me have send a replacement. That's just pretty words. Because that's been my experience on Amazon. They were like, no, we're sending you one tomorrow. Sorry about that. And I'm like, wow, that was absolutely painless. But then I know this creaks, but I'm afraid that if I WD-40 it, it's going to smash on the floor. But you know, then I'm like, oh my gosh, all the guilt came crashing down on me because the sin of wanting something, the sin of spending money on it, the sin of, getting it, having this luxurious horn, the sin of coveting it, the sin of, having something someone else didn't have. Everything's a sin. And like you can pile all these sins, we're counting up to 5 at least. The sin of enjoying it, the sin of seeing it was broken and asking for a replacement, because who said I deserved a replacement? Believe me, the Catholic Church will find a way to make you feel guilty about that. My dad was like that too. Anytime stuff was broken, he couldn't assert himself to get a refund. A lot of Catholics are like that. Speak up, Catholics. And yeah, come to think of it, because you feel like you don't deserve anymore. You're like, you're the scum of the earth. You're going to burn in hell. In Catholic Church, you're already destined for hell. Your best chance is some saint likes you, or Jesus puts in a good word for you. You're destined for hell. Your job in Catholicism is to beg and grovel and whine and hope that God just didn't see all the horrible things you did in your life, you filthy sinner. And should you die without confession or baptism, you're going to hell. So, it all came down today. Like, it's like, it doesn't even make sense. What kind of religion is that? I don't know, man. I was brought up in it. And he says, sounds like a cult. Anyhow, anyhow, Thor had to keep walking me through it. He's like, you legitimately got a broken product and you asked for a replacement. You did not create any kind of sin, and we don't have sin. And I've tried explaining sin to, Norse gods, and they're like, what? The only thing Norse gods care about is if you did something that legitimately made them angry. And I don't mean like, like the Roman Catholic God. That was another thing that came up too. It was like, had I offered that to the Roman Catholic God, you expect to be struck by lightning because it's not made off pure gold, and I'm not funning with you. It's not beautiful and priceless and everything else. How dare I buy the one I could afford and not one that put me into, permanent debt? How dare I offer a damaged good? It has to be perfect because, whatever. I would have expected anger and wrath. And all I got from Thor was, "Oh, sissy, it looks like I got in a fight. It's okay, it's okay." Like I'm coming over, like pat, 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 like it's okay, don't cry. What's the matter? And Thor, and I just felt Odin finally get it right now. Thor got it faster than the other ones did because he's used to people being kind of scared of him because he is kind of big. I was scared. I was scared. That Catholic fear of God came up with my gods, which it shouldn't be because I trust them with my life. But, that came up and I was afraid they were going to get angry, even though they won't. Even though they won't, and this was not my fault, I was still afraid I was going to be blamed and I was going to be hurt for it. And Thor figured it out really fast. Odin, I felt like, was today's years old when he just heard me say it, and he's like, why would we hurt you for that? It wasn't like I did it out of spite. I didn't do it out of spite. Your attention is everything. I was crying, and Thor's like, it's okay, sissy, it's okay. So I tried watering it, and then I tried pouring, like some of the mead in it, mead tea, not actual mead. It didn't feel right. It did not feel like Thor was fine with it, but it didn't feel like it was going to be, good for an offering. I could just tell in my heart, I'm like, he might be okay with this, but I'm not. So I poured it out, and he got like a little tail end, and then I rinsed it out, and I asked for, a replacement. They're sending one, so I'm happy with that. And I was surprised that I have all that Catholic baggage because I'm like, but I got rid of the belief in hell, and I got rid of the idea of an abusive God that's just going to beat me half to death for anything and is all knowing, all powerful, and, everything else. But the Catholic Church has done terrible things for thousands of years, and he hasn't lifted a finger. Works in mysterious ways, doesn't he? And I'm getting yes back here. I don't believe in the Catholic Church version of their God. I believe in the ancient version of their God, which may have had much wrath, but so did every other Bronze Age war deity. Look at Odin. Hanging, yeah. And, was one god of many out of a pantheon. Was not all powerful, was not all knowing, could be hoodwinked. Ran off into the desert on regular occasions to have a royal sulk because did not get his way. So, could not really force people to do things, the same amount of power as any other god. I believe in that God. Maybe Jesus, some days I'm like, Jesus definitely his son. Then some days I'm like, I don't know. I believe in them, but I don't believe in the Catholic version. I think it's been twisted around so that they can use it to control people. There wasn't even any hell in the ancient church. Don't get me started. So, like, and you preach it, Becker, preach good, and you. It's like, we could become televangelists, I don't care. But, the gods aren't gonna hurt you for that. They are happy with whatever you can give them. So even if it, like I've told you guys, even if it's tap water, even if it's just a cracker, even if it's just a thank you, a mental thank you, that's enough. That's enough. They understand when we don't have enough. Odin and Loki, as we said yesterday, are trying to get, like, it seems like they're trying to gear everybody up, whether it's just for winter because they're Nordic gods and we're used to the old days where people literally froze and starved to death. Not that that doesn't still happen, unfortunately. But, whether they're just getting us geared up for winter or it's something coming, but this was part of that. That was part of the gearing up, and I'm grateful I'm getting it replaced. And I'm actually grateful that happened today because it showed me I'm not as, quite as all together as I think I am. And, it gave me a chance to see Thor's compassionate side. And Thor's like, shushi, you know, like, he's a big old teddy bear, like real gentle, like, I'm not scary, am I? You're huge and you have blazing eyes, but no, brother, you're not scary at all. He does his best to be gentle and use this real gentle voice with me, but he's like, yes, you're scary, you're intimidating, and I served an angry, wrathful God, and you look like you're gonna get it with it. And once we got that through, I'm glad we did it. And Loki's just been looking at me, and Odin's like, kind of like shocked that I would think that. But hey, I share the good and bad and the ugly with you guys, so you don't feel wrong when it happens to you. It's okay. It's, Women Who Run with the Wolves is not the best book in the world, but she talks about going through a healing cycle, which is true. You get over a trauma, you're doing so great, you run through your life, you were over it, you were free, and then you smack into that same wall of trauma all over again. And you're like, but I got over this. I have gotten over this like 8 times in my life. Why is it back? It's a healing cycle, man. It's crazy. It's like you're going up this spiral staircase or whatever metaphor works for you. So, the gods are happy. The gods weren't angry at all. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I wasn't committing a sin. They're like, we don't even have a concept of sin. Um, I certainly wasn't trying to steal anything because I showed him the horn, asked him if I could ever replace him, and he said yeah. And, so I wasn't trying to get one over on the seller, but I still felt guilty from all that Catholic garbage and baggage that was like way down in there that I didn't realize. And, International House of Awesome's creeping back in. I'm getting Asmodeus like, yeah, like, they're terrible what they do to people. Most gods I know, like when I would be a little kid, I'd go into a Catholic church, will not step foot into a Catholic church. They don't hate their God. It's the teachings. It's the teachings, my darlings. They will not step in a Catholic church. And I will never know who it was, though it was probably Loki most of the time. But I would get out, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, you got out! They let you out! You're alive! Oh, thank God you're alive!" Considering the things the Catholic Church has done, I understand now why, historically speaking, gods would be like, "You came out alive! They didn't burn you, or tear you into pieces, or throw you to lions, or starve you to death, or sell you, or something else." The Catholic Church used to run brothels too, and guys could go in and do what they do, and then they could pay a fee, and their sins were forgiven. Fast track to heaven. So I will never run out of shade to throw at them. And all those children, I'm never going to run out of wrath, bowls of wrath to pour on them. Don't worry. Hashtag never forget. Again, yes. So, it's okay if you're still healing from that for the rest of your life. It might take, whether you believe in reincarnation or not, or you believe in an afterlife, it may take 1,000 years, but you will get over it or get vengeance when you don't do that in the real life. Haunt a church after you die. That's my suggestion. Get revenge. But, in all seriousness, do the best you can on healing. Do the best on working on you because, vengeance doesn't work. I hope you guys know I'm joking when I say stuff like that. Vengeance and anger don't work. You're not letting them get away with crap because I truly do believe that karma bus will come and run them over multiple times and drag them for a while. But, you will heal. You will heal faster if you're concentrating on your healing and you're concentrating on the gods that love you and care for you and would never treat you like that. So, getting off my soapbox. Hopefully, I didn't just get the channel shut down. But if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye.